Hi everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is May 27th and this is my weekly shop update. So this week I'm going to talk about my ogee bracket feet that I built for my secretary. You can see one of the front ones here and one of the rear ones here. Now something that's a little bit interesting about these is I built these a little differently than I normally do. I tried a different technique to make these. Normally I shape these on the bandsaw and I cut all the shaping in after I assemble the foot blank, so I'll just have some flat faces here and then I'll cut on the bandsaw. So normally what I do is I get all my pieces assembled and I shape them on the bandsaw using a jig similar to this. This is made for a smaller size foot, this size here. So I would clamp my blank into my jig and then I just shape it on the bandsaw. You can see, you can follow your layout line and you can shape this right on the bandsaw, cutting its whole profile out. And the jig just holds it up like that. So the same concept would be true for one of the larger feet. The jig would just be bigger. Oh, and on a side note, when you're making these feet, make sure you don't make two of the same rear feet, because although the front two feet are interchangeable, the rear ones aren't, and you don't want to end up with two rear right feet, because that's going to probably ruin your day. So this time I did all of my initial shaping on the table saw. Something I've never done before with the table saw is making cove molding, which is where you run your workpiece diagonally across the blade. So this was the first time for me. When you're making those cove moldings, basically all you do is you draw your profile, the profile you're trying to get to, which is going to be this curve here, on the end of your workpiece, and then you have a few variables to play with. You have the height of the blade, which is it's pretty straightforward. That's going to be how deep your cove is going to go. And then you have two other variables that you need to play with to get to this appropriate curve. Those two things are the angle of the fence and the position of the fence. So basically what you have to do is you have to get down pretty low, put your eyes down at the table and sight across the table onto the end of the board so you can see your cut line. Having a camera actually makes it a lot easier, because you can put the camera right down on the table and you can look in the viewfinder and you can see exactly where your blade's going to line up. So it's a little tip for you. Get yourself a video camera out there so you don't have to be bending over up and down the whole time as you're adjusting your angles. So to start cutting the cove molding, I lowered my blade all the way down and I brought it up so it's just peeking out of the surface, and I ran that board diagonally across the blade. Every pass I made, I'd raise the blade about 1/16 of an inch and I'd give it another pass. This took about 8 passes total and it went pretty quickly. One thing I'll note though is that dust collection when you're doing this is totally useless, because all the dust just kind of goes off to the sides and you're removing a lot of material to get this whole curve in here. So it's going to make a mess. That's probably the main downside to this technique, is it makes a heck of a mess. So you're going to have a lot of cleanup to do afterwards. Normally when I join these miters together, I join them with a spline. This time I used my domino because I had it. It's easier, but also it's a little safer. The disadvantage with using a spline is when you cut it in here, when you're cutting your spline in here, if you extend it too far, I guess this is more a case on the smaller feet, but if you put your spline too far up toward the front, or it extends too far out to here, you'll end up seeing that on your finished piece, because the base is going to extend, just over top of here. So if you put your spline in the wrong spot, you'll see it in your finished piece, or you'll have to scoot your foot back further, which might not be what you're looking for. So once I got my blanks all assembled and glued together, I could start the final shaping. The final shaping was pretty straightforward. The convex surface was done with a block plane, and then the concave surface was done with a rasp. It went pretty quick and it didn't take that long. And I think the cleanup was a lot faster using this method than using the bandsaw to cut your profile. So there's a slight variation on the back feet. They're not mitered, they just get a piece attached to it that's just half-line dovetailed in there, but they are shaped the same way. So I've already flipped my secretary upside down. I had my wife come in and help me last night flip that over. So this week with the case upside down, I'll be attaching my feet to the base frame, attaching that whole base frame assembly to the case, and then I can install my valances. The main thing I want to try and get done this week is to finish up my prospect box. I need to start working on the door. I'm thinking of maybe making a video about that, because that's going to be an arched beaded mitered door. So leave me a comment if you're interested in seeing a video about that. That's one of those things that looks a lot more complicated than it really is. I know at least I shied away from it at first when I first saw it, but really as long as you have the steps down and you do it in the right sequence of events, it's really a pretty straightforward technique, and it looks really cool when you're done. So if you're interested in seeing a video about that, let me know. I'll try and record something so you guys can take a look at that. So if you haven't seen already, I released part 2 of the T-chest build series. That one went over just the case work. So basically just the miter through dovetail on the case, the main box of the piece. If you haven't seen part 1, I encourage you to take a look at that. That goes through the design of the piece. I'll leave a link to part 1 and part 2 in the description. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or here in my shop, please leave me a comment. I always appreciate those, and I thank everyone who's left me a comment in the past. Welcome to all my new subscribers, and until next week, happy woodworking.